Alright my loves, I am Maddie and this video is about writing and producing an instrumental track from scratch. We're going to go from this to this. I saved different versions of my project as I went along, so it's easy to see the different steps that I took to get there. So I've divided this video up into 10 stages. I wrote and produced this particular track in Ableton, but everything I'm talking about is not specific to Ableton. It can be universally used in other software or even not with a computer. So this is how to write and produce an instrumental track in 10 steps. For anyone not familiar with Ableton, this is session view that I'm in at the moment, which is great for making loops in. You can see you can just record these little clips. So that's a little melody clip there. You record them into these cells, so it's really good for building loops in. The other view is called arrangement view, which is over here, and that's more linear, like other software you would be in. So the first thing I did was to play some chords in, and I've got them on a couple of different sounds here. I've got the CS80 from Arturia V-Synth, and then this string uplift, which is one of Ableton's own sounds down here. So if we have a little listen. Oh, I just doubled it up. Thicken it up a little bit. So after this initial loop, I started adding some other parts in just to build a little sort of loop section to start me off. It's got some bass. Bit of drums. And then started chucking some melodies in. I've got this doubled up as well. I've got like a guitar sound and a synth sound. And then, for a little bit of interest, a little counter melody. So that was my initial loop, just a starting point for the song to work from. So for the second stage, I've moved into this arrangement view in Ableton. But I did this because I'm now starting to think more about the arrangement rather than just the loop that I had earlier on. The main thing I did here was to go back to the melody and basically completely change it. So the first one was just like the first melody that came to my head, and I thought, maybe I could do something better. So I ended up with this. I sort of went in and looked for areas where there might be a little bit of gap. I added some crazy arpeggio in for a bit of interest, tried to make sure there was lots of interest going on all the time. Quite a lot of syncopation on the go, just because this is going to be an instrumental track and there's going to be no words, so syncopation is going to make it interesting. With that new melody in there, this is what we're working with. I have changed up some of the sounds that I'm using by this point. I've also added some reversed cymbals because they're the best. And I've started to think more about what's going to happen before and after this big section that I've been working on. So I've basically taken these chords, chucked them into an intro and a verse just to give myself a bit of a canvas for what's going to happen in that section. You can see there's some drums, like simple drums coming in halfway through that verse. And I've got a bit of an idea for a section afterwards as well. So I'll show you a little bit of the intro. Added some cool arpeggios in. And then this is just the same chords that I had already, but I'm thinking if I hold it back a little bit, I can have a different mood to this section. And then I want to step it up gradually before I get to that big section again. Just some simple kick. And then we're going to arrive with some reversed cymbal to my chorus. So we've heard that already, so let's jump to some super weird Selena, which obviously needs some work. How is the song going to start? Got those chords from before, the arpeggios I'd sort of added in to give a bit of vibe. If we look at the automation, you can see I sort of ramp them up a bit as well, so we kind of grow into the first verse. And then we've got a weird little bass roll off here. What have we got down here? A string swell, a nice ting on the first beat, and this breath on the first beat of the verse. So I'll give you a little listen of that. Or will I? So obviously it needs some refining, but it's getting a bit of the mood, the kind of dark mood that I'm getting for this song on the go at the start. Obviously the intro is the first bit that anyone's going to hear, so I wanted to spice it up a little bit. By now I've started thinking about my verse melody, and I really want it to contrast with the feeling of the chorus melody that had quite a lot of notes going on. So I thought with this one, to keep it a little bit slower, fewer notes. You can see that I just copied and pasted the same thing from verse 1 and verse 2 at the moment. I'll play you this one. I tried to get a very, very different mood so that it wouldn't fight against the chorus when we get there. And this is the second verse, and I accidentally added this weird little thing on the end, but I liked it. That weird honky Selena thing from earlier on, this guy down here, I decided to make that the basis of the bridge and put some different chords behind it to really sort of reset the tonality before we get to this third chorus over here. Fine-tuned that sound a little more by this point. And in this third chorus here, I've got a sort of quieter one here, and then I bring everything back up big at the end. We're getting bigger and bigger, and I bring that Selena back again, like a sort of reference back to earlier on. Bonus tip, take a break, come back later with fresh ears. You can see by this point in the song, a lot of my parts tend to have more than one instrument playing them. I often like to have a bass sound and then double it with an extra bass sound in the chorus to make it fatter. I also pretty much always have extra kick, like this, just the blend of a few different kick sounds together just fattens it up. I like it a lot more. I've already got several different things playing these parts. That's actually multiple versions of the CS80 synth there. Even the lead melody on the second half of the chorus, I've brought in this version of it. So it's not the main part, but it's just giving an extra little sparkle. Sparkle. By this point, I've started organising. You can see, oh, look at the lovely colour coding. Isn't it beautiful? It's like a rainbow. I like to put the drums up the top. You see I've got them all grouped here, just to make it easier to see what's going on. So I've got all my drums together, same with the bass, grouped together, same with the pads, and it's just much easier to access everything. I'd also, until this point, put in this sort of weird Edgar Allan Poe poem being read in a man's voice, which I thought might have been a cool kind of feature. So I'll play you a little bit of it here.
Deep into that darkness peering. Long I stood there, wondering, fearing.
I sort of decided by this point though that I didn't really think it was adding as much as I had thought it was. So I just got rid of it. It's pretty cool though. That poem is called Darkness. That is why this song is called Darkness. It was just the temporary file name, and then I just thought, yeah, Darkness. You're called Darkness now. I tend to carry on adding things, taking things away, right up until the point where the song is done. When is a song done? When it's abandoned, according to Da Vinci, I think. So there's lots of like random little elements that I'll keep bringing in. You can see this is my candy section in the orange here. So we've got the ting sound, reversed cymbals, all over the place, because reversed cymbals are awesome. We've got the little breath that comes back, the little string swell, bug. I'm not even sure what that is. What is that? Oh, it must be at the beginning here. That's what it is. Little orchestral stabs into the chorus. Little things like that, just to transition the sections together nicely. At this point as well, I've started mixing and mastering it. So on the master channel here, got a compressor, an EQ, another compressor, limiter. I just faffed around with that stuff until I found what I like the sound of. Most of these channels will have little bits and pieces on them again. I'm using the utility thing here just to automate some gain every now and then. Got various EQs on stuff. I've just put that EQ on the lead group there because nothing was going down past that point. Don't need it. And the EQ on the master channel I've just rolled off at around 20 Hertz because can't hear it anyway. No point. It's a bit of a joke to just do the mixing and the mastering all in just one point. I realise that it should be a video on its own, but you know, got little bits of reverb and delay. Sometimes I've done little sort of spikes with that as well. I've got a little ramp on the gain and then a quick cut off on the master channel at the end because I wanted it to do this big rah 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 and then go away again at the end. I'll just play the ending. I want to have that really sudden cut off. Doors go mad. Waiting for it to open.
With some in big and soft.
Big and soft. This now is the final project here, and I'd decided that it was done. And what I did next was listen to it on lots of different things. So on these headphones, on these studio speakers here, on little Bluetooth guys like this. Also just in my car and on like little crappy headphones. So you can't really guarantee how it's going to sound on different things, but if you listen to a few different ones, you'll get like an average vibe of what it sounds like. After doing that, I came back and just tweaked little things that I'd noticed when listening on those different setups. I think this riser that's about to happen is one of the things that was like, more riser. Added a bit of counter melody back in, like from way back in the beginning. No point in putting all that hard work in if you're not going to show it to anyone. So I'm not saying you have to release your song, but you can show it to your friends. Everyone gets nervous about sharing music when it's new and fresh, but it's really good to just get it out there. It's like liberating. Be free. I love getting feedback on my songs. Everyone is very, very helpful with the kind of feedback they give. People aren't generally that sort of mean and non-constructive. And if they are, then I don't want them listening to my music anyway. The artwork here is actually a painting by my mum. Thanks, Mum. And that is it. So we went from day one, sounding like this, to the finished song, which sounds like this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, please hit the like button. If you're into this music production content, you can subscribe to my channel. There's lots of other music related stuff as well. And if you hit the little bell thing, you get actually notified when I put a new video out, which is every week. If there's anything that you think I missed out in this video, or if you want to share links to your own songs that you've made, feel free to pop them in the comments. We can all have a little look, comment on each other's stuff. Community vibes, yeah. I'll leave you with a little bit of the music video to this track, Darkness, which was created by Daniel Fitzgerald, and I will see you next time.